Let's see who's in the chat.
Yeah, David is in here.
JJ Bama, fellow Bucks
JJ.
fan. Michael Ham. I talked to him on Monday. He had no voice. So that tells you how good of a time he had Sunday.
You know who else probably doesn't have a voice today is Tom Brady. And if you guys look online, today was the boat parade, and Tom Brady got hammered. So you actually have a little clip of him on Instagram and on different social media platforms showing Tom Brady getting walked safely by his friend, I don't know, through a hallway or past the public, but Tom Brady was wobbling. Like, I mean, it was good. It was like funny to see someone that's so respectful let loose and party a bit. Like, you would expect Gronk to be the one that is wobbling and walking around, but I guess Gronk can handle his alcohol and Tom can't.
Yeah, Gronk was getting loose on his boat with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Scotty Miller and Cameron Brate. Did you see Tom Brady throw the Lombardi trophy from his boat to Gronk's boat?
That's 1 of 1, 7 yards, 158.3 QB completion rating, or QB rating. Hey man, I'd rather him throw it than catch it. But one thought that I had, because look, I mean, I don't know how much you want to talk about the Super Bowl and then how much you want to talk about other sports, but because this was the only Super Bowl or the first one to be on home turf, like in Tampa with the Buccaneers playing, I was wondering how crappy would it be to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer player going to work every day at the stadium where you lost the Super Bowl, right? Imagine being reminded every day that is where you crumbled on the biggest stage. And I wonder if, like, I don't think you could add more motivation to wanting to play big in the Super Bowl, but how crappy would it be to go to work every day and play every Sunday and occasionally on Monday in the stadium that you lost the biggest game of your life in, right?
It would be like Monday morning every day.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Hobby Cop? Yeah, we're obviously we're still basking a little bit in our glory here from the big win. And Brad and I were watching the 2002 Super Bowl together at Papa John's, flipping dough, putting pizzas in the oven, and we were going nuts when we won. There was guys streaking down Florida Avenue. It was crazy. And we went to the stadium immediately after, and so it was lit. And so I'm very happy to have you back here with me to celebrate the Bucs' second Super Bowl. And how does this compare to that one, if at all?
Well, for me, this is a different championship than any other one that I've seen, because the Tampa Bay Lightning won last season, which was huge. The Bucs won a long time ago. The Lightning won again a long time ago. The Rays have never won. But the buildup for the last couple of years was really intense for the Buccaneers in the 90s and early 2000s. The buildup for the Lightning was really big. If you're a hockey fan, the Lightning were the biggest disappointments of 2019. They shattered records in the NHL. They won more games in the regular season than anyone, and then got swept in the first round. So that's like the year that Tom Brady and the Patriots went to the Super Bowl undefeated, but then lost to the Giants. It's kind of like that, where you go, how is this possible? But the buildup of those other franchises and of the Bucs 20 years ago was so gradual that you really felt it building forever. And I don't even know what our record was last year, but what was it, like 8-8 or 7-9 or something like that?
Yeah,
9-7 maybe best, but I think like 8-8, 7-9. And so you go from that to winning the Super Bowl. It's almost too surprising. It's almost like too short of a buildup, because usually this is such a big deal where you got the quarterback, but then now you need a wide receiver, and then now you need to build the defense, and you got to get all these things going before the quarterback leaves or before something else happens. And then a big injury happens and it ruins the whole season. And we didn't have the big injury. We had Tom Brady. He came, he recruited his friends and everyone else. The defense clicked at the right time. And all of a sudden you're like, how in the world did this actually pan out in a sport where it's just one game, right? You lose one game and your season's over, instead of a best out of 5 or best out of 7. So what are your
Yeah, and
thoughts?
you know when you get that text the night before the Super Bowl from Tom Brady saying we're gonna win, it's like, yeah, dude, I believe it. We're gonna win. This guy's won 6 Super Bowls. We're gonna win.
Did he
You
say
know, so
that?
you go out and handle business, man. What's up, Hobby Cop? Yes, we are live, brother. David Hunter, let's go.
Jason's breaks, man. I swear.
Akin Moss.
JJ Bama.
What do we got?
Oh
Jason's
man,
break. Jason's break. Get out of here with that scandal bull crap, man.
come on, man. For one, the Chiefs. I don't know what happened to the Chiefs. Okay, because we can talk about the Chiefs a bit, because if you're a Chiefs fan, you could say, all right, well, the penalties screwed us. Well, look, there were a lot of penalties, but there were a lot of penalties. Like, there were a lot of flags thrown, but there were a lot of penalties. I could see some of them being non-calls. Definitely not going the other way, but I could see, yeah, I saw that one. That was good. I could see some of those penalties being non-calls, but that's not nearly enough to have won the game, because Mahomes was not his best. He was injured. He was not sharp. The offensive line did not hold up at all. There were at least 3 drops. I know 3 big drops from Kansas City where Kelsey, I think Tyreek Hill, maybe one other could have caught a really big first down or even a touchdown pass that they dropped all 3, and they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. So it was like, I don't know what happened, but I'm not complaining. It was the best bad game ever as a Bucs fan.
There you go. It was unreal. People were shooting off fireworks around here in the neighborhood. It was going crazy. In fact, there was people shooting off fireworks every time we scored here in my neighborhood.
Well, you couldn't shoot the cannons. You couldn't
It
fire
was
the
lit.
cannons because it'd be biased to shoot the cannons off or fire the cannons when you score. But either way, I wish I was there. My buddy Phil was actually at the game by the pirate ship, and now I regret not going. But I think his tickets were about $9,000 each, so could reinvest that in cards.
In $9,000, I mean, that's like that's a drop in the bucket for you now, man.
Mm.
What's the most expensive card that you bought now to date?
Me?
Yeah, an investment. Because you're really
Mm.
focusing strictly on investing still. I know I showed you my red cracked ice collection of the Bucks guys, and you're like, yeah, but I'm still just focused on the investing side. So
Well, it's also because if I'm looking to do this as paying my bills, I need to do the investment side first to pay the bills, so I don't have a personal collection under a bridge next to like homeless person Randy or whatever. So right now, like the personal collection is, I mean, I have like some Will Smith cards. I have low end cards. I bought John Stamos and Jaleel White, aka Urkel cards, $1 each. But
oh, yeah.
my personal collection budget is very low as I'm looking to produce full-time income doing this. So that's going to be on the back burner as I get this up and running, and then all the other cards will come. It's kind of like you have to make your sacrifices. You got to like pay your bills and build something up before you get all the toys, before you get the car, before you get the vacation. You need to like, all right, let me grind it out. Let me pay the bills. Let me take care of business first. So PC is very little, but I think I have several cards around $1,000. I think I have a couple cards about 1,000. I have a few Russell Wilson Prism rookie PSA 10s that were 900 each.
Ooh.
And then Kyler Murray Prism rookies that were 400. Jason, yeah, right. 21-20. The Chiefs have got to get in the end zone at some point. They're not going to score like 8 more field goals. Yeah.
What's up, David Hunter? Yeah, Brad would definitely negotiate a deal. I'm sure he would find a way to build himself a nice cardboard 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment for free.
It doesn't rain here, so I don't have to worry about the cardboard getting soaked and falling through.
Are you eating your cake already?
No, this is oatmeal. Tom Brady has inspired me to eat healthy, so I have my oatmeal and almond butter, and so I'm on the TB12 diet plan, so I can up my game.
Well, today the TB12 diet is a liquid diet, brother. So I'm actually on the Super Bowl celebration TB12 diet.
Oh man,
Hey, yes, dude. That's the thing. Tom Brady got the MVP, but certainly the team, I mean, Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles a freaking legend, dude. The way the defensive plan that he had worked out for us, and I mean, all the
well,
guys on defense: Devin White, Levante David, JPP, Shaq Barrett, Ndamukong Suh, and then Leonard Fournette, dude. That guy, playoff Lenny.
playoff
Playoff
Lenny.
Lenny was crushing it, dude. I mean, he was running like a madman. Like he knew this was his opportunity, and he was going to show the world that he's not Uncle Lenny, that he is playoff Super Bowl winning MVP, playoff Lenny.
You know, I wanted to bring this up right here because Tom Brady is the MVP of the Bucs. He was the Super Bowl MVP, but it's not just his performance; it's his impact from coming to Tampa because he was able to recruit Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski. And who's the other one? Was there someone else? Was there someone else?
Oh, AB. I mean, dude, are you talking about what the specific question? What, who he brought?
Yeah, who did? Because I remember one of the reporters.
He directly influenced the signing. Yeah, Fournette, Gronk. Obviously, Gronk was first, AB. Fournette, and then AB.
Okay, who was the other one that caught a touchdown? Because I remember that they said Tom Brady brought everyone that caught a touchdown or scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. He recruited every single one. So who am I missing? Is there someone that?
No, that's all of them.
Okay, maybe. Oh, it was Gronk twice. That's right. Gronk scored twice.
Right. Gronk twice, AB, and Fournette.
But see, so here's the thing, and I know Chris Godwin's unrestricted free agent, I believe, and there are a couple other guys they need to sign. But Michael Ham brings this up. What do you think of Adrian Peterson wanting to play? I'm like, if the salary is very little, if it's $1 million and we need a second string running back or someone to, it's like the good thing with Tom Brady is that when you have a team like that and a coach that players want to play for, you can get veterans on their last leg that will take the budget deal. They'll be like, look, I'll take the veteran minimum. I just want the best chance to win before I retire. You get that with Antonio Brown, where he's like, hey, I don't know if I have more years left. I'd love to prove myself, but he proved himself. He played every single game. He did not complain. There was no media attention. He really changed it up. So hopefully we'll keep him. I'm not sure if it was a 1-year deal, but hopefully we keep him. But at least if we don't, that's his proving ground. And now he can go out and he could be successful with another team. And then with Tom Brady's success, we can bring in another wide receiver, running back, or whoever, maybe even defender. Just, if we wanted another cornerback that hasn't won a championship, saying, hey, come play for Tampa. You won't get paid a lot, but we have the best chance of winning. And I think that's something that is super valuable when you have a leader like Tom Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, someone wanting to be a wrestler and getting Hulk Hogan as their mentor and their coach. I mean, everybody would want to fight for you or play for you if you're the guy that's got the legend like Tom Brady, and he's still playing. It's unreal, dude. It's unreal. I feel for you, Jackson Klein, man. He's on the other end. You guys, your O-line injuries and. But I gotta say, man, that's a talented team, and Patrick Mahomes is an unreal athlete.
Yeah, here's the thing. I would feel worse if it were the Bills or the Browns or someone where this team has just sucked for years and years. The Chiefs have been relevant since Patrick Mahomes has been there, and they're going to be relevant for many more years. So if there's a team to beat and not feel too bad for, it would be the prior Super Bowl champions that is only a year removed from winning with the best quarterback in the game right now. It's like, I'm good for another 18 years. Like, I say that, but I'm good for like another couple years, but I'd love to get one more with Tom still playing. But, it's one of those things where the Bills have it worse, the Browns have it worse, all these other teams, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, where Rodgers was having such a great year and that's gone. Drew Brees, the Saints were up and down, but now it looks like he's done. But, hey, that's just how it shakes out.
Yep, that's just how it shakes out, man. And
the injuries for sure.
Yeah, injuries for sure. But, that's not our primary focus here. So we do want to talk about cards. And you mentioned your biggest purchases in Russell Wilson. PSA 10 Prism for 900.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds low. How did you know that was low? Because knowing you, I know you only buy low. You are the man when it comes to card flipping and investing. So how did you know that was low?
I mean, I'm just looking at the charts. That's all I'm doing. I'll pull up this exact chart, and I want to buy one more. To be honest, I'm watching one on eBay, but it's probably gonna. So if you guys want it, go for it. I'd like to buy one more. I have five. I have five for all transparency reasons. But let me pull it up real quick, and I'll share it. But if you take a look at this chart, it's insane because it's just you see when Russell Wilson went on his ridiculous tear, and then you can see it in the charts because it just spikes like there's an earthquake happening, and then all of a sudden it goes back down. Take a look at this. Hold on one
And
second.
where are you getting that chart from? Is that Market Movers?
Yeah, this is Market Movers. So hold on one second.
Are you using the light version or the pro version?
This is the pro. I don't know what the
So
light version is like, to be honest. I don't know what it would remove, but so this is what Russell Wilson's. Yeah, so take a look here. The blue is his Prism, and the pop report's only 352 according to this chart. And then you see here, like beginning of the year, and even if I exclude this one right here at 3,000, some of these other ones, 2,000, 2,750, 2,500. And then I think this right here is when he was on such a tear, 2,700, 2,800, 2,650.
Yeah,
and then it dropped down. And I think the ones I bought right there, 878. I bought several. 861.
But they're pulling all this from eBay, and I see you got but you bought the Prism, right? The blue.
Yeah, correct. So look at the blue line, and where my arrow is. These 4 or 5 are the ones that I bought, but I bought it based on this chart here, seeing like, holy crap, it can really have that potential, and not believing it'll actually go down to these prices ever again, assuming the market is where it's at or will be similar in 8 months' time.
Yeah, and you look at where it was in beginning of September before he had even played a snap in the 2020 regular season, and look how high it is. So that's a dead indication right there that it's gonna go back up.
Well, I mean, look at the last few sales. I've been trying to get these last ones. Look, 1,300, 1,100, 950. Just the last 3 are higher than what I paid, and the last one is 1,300. So if I sold my card right now, the one that I bought, and they're all around here, so it's 900, 875, something like that. If I sold that for the current price, not even a month later, we're talking about $300 profit roughly. So that's why I'm looking at the bigger cards now, because I'm having more confidence with these bigger numbers, but using the same type of mindset where I'm looking at the charts. I'm saying this looks low based on the numbers, but also based on not having too much attention on the player, the time of the year, where everyone else is looking, based on what's interesting, what products are being released, that kind of stuff. So hopefully football continues. Hopefully it stays low. Football does. But I mean, just based on the last 3 sales, it's making me think, well, maybe it's not going to be as low as I think. So maybe I should just get in and get what I can now.
The hobby's growing so much. I feel that there's just certain guys that are so elite and so popular that everybody knows about, like Russell Wilson, that they may drop for a brief period of time because there's so much attention on the guys that are in the playoffs, and in the Super Bowl. For example, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. But then his cards slowly go back up. And what if they sign a good running back that's got a promising career ahead of them, and they do some other improvements to the offensive line, and they make improvements to the coaching and whatnot in Seattle, and so his card prices are going to stay elevated throughout the offseason, is what I'm thinking on certain elite players.
Well, I mean, my thought process is, what quarterbacks have the worst wide receivers? What are the best quarterbacks with the worst wide receivers? And what are the odds that a top wide receiver will be drafted in the first round? And if not, picked up in free agency, right?
Boom.
So Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Okay, keep going.
Who else? No, I mean, more than me. So that was the one guy.
Who you're buying now is Lamar Jackson?
I've been buying some Lamar. Yeah, I like. I'll check out his prices further, but this is another reason why I like Lamar Jackson is because I'm a bit nervous with the 2019 rookies like Kyler Murray just because of the print runs. So I'm looking at Kyler Murray's Prism PSA 10 go up in pop on market movers month after month, like up another 300, up another 500, and so it's too fresh for me to know how many of these cards are going to be there. There it is. He just needs a Bucks jersey.
Feel free to keep talking, Brad. I just
Okay,
wanted
like,
to
you want me to stop? You
just
want me
show
to keep
Carter
going?
that I'm taking good care of this very rare RPA of Leonard Fournette PSA 10 that I won from him in a bet when the Bucks played the Saints. And I did not want to make this bet. I do not like making bets on my team. It's a superstition that I have. But I was like, no, I'm just doing this for fun. And I had already lost like 3 or 4 bets to Carter this year. So I felt like, this one, I totally had no, emotional investment. I didn't want to associate. Honestly, this is how superstitious I am, Brad. I'm sitting there watching us play the Saints, and I'm thinking in my head, I would buy this $50 PSA 9 Sam Darnold rookie card for Carter for the Bucks to win. I'm sitting here thinking this in my head during the game, but the Bucks went on to win. Another great defensive performance in that game as well, and so he offered me this card, and I couldn't turn it down. It's
a beautiful card, really beautiful.
Yeah, but so going back to your point about quarterbacks that are good that have the worst wide receiving corps in the league, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones right now is at the top of my list in that category. Dude, I bought a PSA 9 Optic of his just earlier this week for $25. PSA 9 Optic, $25. Wow. And I don't know if you watched my recent video, but there's really not a whole lot of difference between a 9 and a 10, besides maybe the PSA grader was hungry and, had already given out 15 10s that morning and wanted to go to lunch.
Well, even the price of getting that graded is probably $18 or so. So I mean, like the fact that you're basically getting a quarterback's Optic rookie card for $7 or $8. Plus, I don't know a damn thing about Daniel Jones or the Giants, but I know Saquon Barkley was out, and I know that just him coming back should boost not only that performance of the offense, but just the hype around the offense. And then you have the New York media, and then hopefully they get what. Do you think they're going to get a wide receiver in the draft or a free agent?
Yeah, I'm going to get a wide receiver because they had one of the worst wide receiving corps in the league. I think they're going to get a wide receiver. Also, Daniel Jones was top 10 in deep ball completion percentage. He was top 10 in clean pocket completion percentage, and he's highly mobile. In the right coaching system with some weapons around him, I think they can be very dangerous. They almost made the playoffs, even though they're in a terrible division. Their whole team was a losing division overall. But at those prices, if you were to pull up a PSA chart on your market movers of that, I mean, I use StarStock. It's free, but I find, that looking at the StarStock chart has become very similar to looking at a chart of sales from eBay, because a lot of the same people that are buying and selling on StarStock are also buying and selling on eBay and probably ComC too. Like I've actually sold cards on all 3 platforms this last month. It's been incredible.
It's been great. I mean, the last 2 months have been the best months for me, period. So this is a really nice looking chart as well. I'll pull it up in a second. This is Daniel Jones's Optic and Prism in PSA 9 and PSA 10. Hold on. So let's take a look here. Make this big. Share the screen.
I see a lot of guys talking about college prospects. I definitely trust Carter, Power Hour LSU on college prospects. Jamar Chase.
Don't trust me. If I ever talk about prospecting, just don't even listen, because that is not my realm. I like. There's a lot. There's years a deep later
QB pool coming out of the league. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence, but you got Mac Jones, who's coming out of Alabama, and he had a really strong finish there in the championship game. And so it'll be interesting to see, And I was looking at Carter's buddy Scott Smith, his mock draft for 2021, which he was like voted most accurate mock drafter for the last several years in a row. So I found it very interesting. But whose chart is this? This is Daniel Jones. A perfect point right here. And it's a big market team. The Giants have a big fan base. So come September, Saquon Barkley's back. They've added this wide receiver. They've made improvements here. Daniel Jones prices are going to go up. I can't say that they're going to go up to where you're seeing them there, but they're going to go up at least to the card that I bought for 25 to being able to sell that for, I don't know. I'm hoping close to 100. I would imagine I can get close to 100 for that in September when the hype is high.
So this is the way I interpret the charts, just based on trying to be conservative and realistic. I look here and I go, okay, the market is not even close to where it was in March or April. So there's probably 2 times or 3 times the amount of money just in the hobby. So this is not, I don't ever see a player at this current state of their performance or their career ever being here again. But their floor, I think, will be a bit higher. But I know that if it's gone up to this point, then I don't expect that for Daniel Jones, because it's been a disappointing season. But I go, all right, if you're at $125 for a PSA 10, and the highest, when the hype was the highest, you were at 383. Let's see, can you go from 125 to, this is 260, let's say 250 right here by the beginning of next season? And to me, if I believe that 125 can go to 250 in the next 6 months, I feel very good about it, considering that's not even including him playing any football. It's including nothing bad happening, and hopefully the Giants getting some positive hype, and then football season starting, and Saquon Barkley, and a new draft pick, and a new lineman, or whatever else. So that's why I love buying off season according to this. But, you know, we'll see if this dips down even more. Because you see right here, this is the lowest point, it appears, somewhere like late November, and it's higher now. And I don't know if it's just because there's a lot of attention around football because of the Super Bowl, and then in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month, it'll simmer back down when baseball starts. But to me, that's my thought process, is if I can buy right now and get a good enough profit that's well below the top, then that's a very safe investment to me. And especially if they're not going to play. Like if they actually play and I want to hold the card into the season, then I can do that. But then it's higher risk, because they could perform well, but they could also perform poorly. They could get injured. They could, you know, a lot of things can happen. But that's why I like this.
At the end of the day, you're still left with the card. That's what I love about cards specifically versus fantasy football, because I could, you know, pick a guy, a DFS 1 week, he's injured, my lineup screwed, or for the season, like I had Saquon Barkley last year, you know, that messed me up. I had Michael Thomas, that messed me up. You know, when they get injured, and you're in some of those cases, if you spent your first round or second round pick on these guys and a couple of them get hurt, you're screwed, you know, and or you didn't have the best draft. You know, you accidentally picked Ezekiel Elliott in the first round instead of, you know, Aaron Jones or Derrick Henry or something, or you took Christian McCaffrey, right? Who wasn't going to take Christian McCaffrey at the 1.1? He missed, you know, half the season, you know, so. But in cards, like, you're still left with that card, and then the player comes back, the hype comes back, and now all of a sudden the card value goes back up, and you've got a good investment.
Well, I mean, I'm not into fantasy just because of how much work it takes to not have anything really tangible or very versatile. Because, like you said, fantasy, you're tying everything together into one. So if you have 2 of those lousy picks and the other guy has a lot of great picks, I mean, you can lose in the playoffs, or you can lose however it is. Even if you get a lot of your picks right, just 2 wrong picks or something like that. This is very individual, where I can be like, okay, these guys I thought were going to be short-term flips and great investments. They're injured. They're done for the year. They're on the back burner. All right. Maybe I sell at a loss, but personally, I'd rather just hold and try and sell at break even or at a profit later on. But at least I can now work over here. Now I can work with these guys. I can do this. In fantasy, it's pretty much like, All right. Well, my team is out. If your team is out, it's out. But cards, it's very individual. I like that versatility.
I love it, but you can just watch my channel, obviously, right? But what I love about fantasy football is that, with dynasty leagues and as fantasy football fanatics, we play in multiple leagues. So there's always, a league, like I had 4 or 5 leagues going on this year plus DFS. So if I wanted to, I can create a custom lineup on a weekly basis, put in a $5, $10 lotto ticket and try and win $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So there's always that aspect. It's a little bit of a gambling, but it's a game within a game. But what it does is it drives you to understand and look at the entire player pool of the NFL, and then go back and look at their athletic profile and see what they did in college and what kind of system they excel in and where they're at now and what kind of opportunity they're looking at. And are people just ignoring them because maybe they're not on a big market team or they're missing this or that? And they're, really when it comes to cards, like we're investing in athletes, right? We're investing in a specific player, but we take in all these things into consideration. Brad's stock eating oatmeal.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm looking at here, and Jason, I don't know where Cal City is. I don't know what it is, but I'm in California. It sounds like it's a California place. But the one thing with fantasy that, even though I'm not into it, it's more like, because if I were into it, it would be very time consuming. I couldn't be half into it. It'd be like, all right, I'm all in, kind of like me with cards, where I got to be all in. I can't just be half pregnant on it. And I remember, if you remember playing Madden, there was 1 year of Madden where they introduced franchise mode. And I loved franchise mode because that was the game within the game. That's where you got to draft your whole team and actually play out seasons. And you could fast forward and even simulate seasons and just go to the combine and just go to the draft and trade and free agency. And to me, that was a lot of fun. The management of all the players, building the team, doing a complete draft from number 1 overall to 52 rounds, because you have to complete a whole roster. So do you pick the best quarterback, or if the best quarterback's not there, do you go with the best middle linebacker, or somewhere where you would control that player on defense or something else? But it was just so in depth. And I think that's what fantasy is. That's also what cards are too, where we can take this as deep down the rabbit hole as we want. And I'd rather take it down the card rabbit hole than the fantasy, but I use a lot of that knowledge and I ask you a lot so I can apply it to cards.
Yeah, man. And as I feel like as you buy more cards and you sell more cards, you understand what certain players and sets, you get an idea of what their low is and what their high is. Mm-hmm. So like when you see, for example, I bought this Robert. Well, I'm gonna call out here our boy Carter from Power Hour LSU, because he's just sharing me that he had this card for sale, this Robert Woods Prism autograph card. He's the wide receiver for the Rams, and he's a 2013 rookie, so he's got a few years under his belt, but he's nothing like flashy or special, but he's like Mr. Consistent. He's a very good route runner, good hands. Like he always catches the ball. He's just a solid professional wide receiver. But he's in LA. He's with Jared Goff, this and that. Well, when the Rams cut Jared Goff,
or traded,
and not cut him, but traded him for Matt Stafford, Robert Woods rookie card prices went through the roof. They literally doubled and tripled overnight, because people saw him as one of the biggest benefactors of having Matt Stafford come down, and but in going back before that happened, like Carter sent me this, and this was like randomly, I can't remember when I bought it from him, probably December sometime, like late December, and the auction was at like $10. I'm like, dude, I'm willing to pay up to, it was super clean. Carter took great care of it. It was pristine. It looked like a PSA 10, centering, corners, everything. And I ended up getting it from his auction for like $12.
Wow.
And so when that happened, I was like, I'm selling it on eBay. And so I listed it on eBay, $40, buy it now. Someone bought it for a couple days later after the news of Matt Stafford. But just understanding, like, what a Prism autograph, that's too cheap.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
too
That's
cheap.
it.
I need to get that because there's and like the sales cycle is long. So like I'm continuously looking at things like I'm okay because I don't do this for like a daily full-time job to be able to pay my rent, my cell phone bill like you do. But so I'm looking at it like it's okay if I buy this card and have to hold it for 6 months, but knowing that 6 months down the road it's gonna triple in value and be able to
Mm.
sell it.
Yeah. And I think for me, I like the thing is the players are one aspect of it, but what really fascinates me more is just the human behavior on how people react to signings or injuries or trades or all these types of things. Or when, like, what does a blowout win mean for our card prices versus a normal win? Or what does a blowout loss mean for a player's card prices versus losing by a point? That kind of stuff intrigues me. So I'm going to be investing a lot in football in the next couple months. So I want to ask you, based on what you're seeing and what you expect from the draft with everything you're studying, who are some of the players, let's say quarterback first, but then wide receiver, running back, that really you think is under the radar or has the most to gain from the draft?
From the draft specifically?
Let's do
Or
draft first, and then we can go to the start of next year. Like, what team do you think would make the biggest jump up?
well, I think you first and foremost have to look at the Jacksonville Jaguars who've got the number one pick. And so I mean, unless anything's changed the last time, like, I mean, it's pretty much set in stone almost, almost, right? That they're going to take Trevor Lawrence number one and the 1.1. So that's going to be a huge benefit to the skill position players in Jacksonville. DJ Chark, first and foremost, I've already seen increases in his prices just based on the speculation that they're going to draft Trevor Lawrence. And this is primarily like, I feel the first place when I look at DJ Chark, the first place I saw increases in his Prism rookie card because I was buying them for around $5 to $10 back in November, December when Jacksonville's the bottom of the league. Mike Glennon at that point was their quarterback because Gardner Minshew struggled with injuries all year.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite look-alike, and which Mike Glennon's not terrible, but they went through another guy before they got to Mike Glennon, and so DJ Chark, and then Laviska Shenault, who is a 2020 rookie. The guy's incredible. He could literally probably play run back as well. I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife. And then you got James Robinson, who is an undrafted free agent that they signed. He's a 2020 rookie, but he doesn't really have many rookie card offerings because he was an undrafted free agent that they picked up. And he ended up being a workhorse and did really well for them. But he doesn't have the greatest athletic metrics, but he's a tough, scrappy dude, downhill runner. So those are like the primary guys. There's also a 2020 rookie, Colin Johnson, who's like Mike Evans size wide receiver on the outside with DJ Chark. And you could pick his cards up right now for dirt cheap. And I feel like he would even get a bonus. Typically, though, we see a lot of the focus go directly towards the alpha first. So that would be DJ Chark and Laviska Shenault. Like the focus is going to go there if they sign Trevor Lawrence. But then it's going to, it's going to permeate to the other guys.
Do you think Chris Godwin's coming back to the Bucs? You think there's money for that?
I don't know, man. I hope so. But you look at all the teams that need a wide receiver, big market teams. I think whatever happens is going to bode well for Chris Godwin prices.
Yeah. I mean, he could go to a lousy team that just really needs a wide receiver, and I don't know. I mean, it's like he didn't get too many catches this year, or too many balls. He had a lot of competition on the field, and Brady's got to throw to the open guy. But yeah, I don't know if there's money for him. I mean, Tom Brady's only making what, 20 million, something like that, 20 million. So I mean, 17 million.
That's another thing I love about Tom Brady is that he gives up his salary. He's been routinely one of the lower paid quarterbacks in the league to give up the salary cap to other teammates so they can get in the awesome wide receivers, the awesome running backs, the offensive line, the defensive players. He just wants to win, dude.
That's all. I mean, that's the best thing. I can't blame people for going after the money because Tom Brady's also won many times. And it's like, look, he has a lot of endorsements. His personal brand and his companies are worth way more than a couple extra $1 million per year. But I get it. If you're a player that doesn't have that kind of legacy, that wants to make that extra $2 or $3 or $5 million while you can, because that's a lot of money.
And Drew Brees is a prime example. So Drew Brees is in the top 10 of paid quarterbacks in the NFL for several years, for a long time, in fact. And it was a whole article about it, about how, does this play a role in why, certain quarterbacks make it further than others.
For sure.
Because, hey, they could have done what Brady did and forfeit salary to acquire better supporting cast. Although they have
absolutely.
pretty damn good supporting cast in New Orleans. Let's say that.
I know you want to show us that. I also want to bring attention to this question by Kin Moss about Gardner Minshew, who you were pretty big on before this year, and he could be one of those under the radar guys, depending on how the draft goes. And I don't know if there's trade, if there's a potential for trade, or just maybe he starts if Trevor Lawrence struggles. It's like there's a lot of expectation around Trevor Lawrence, and that doesn't always pan out, at least not at first. So it's like it's not a guarantee that a rookie will start day one and actually do great. I mean, it's not all rookies pan out that quickly.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. You're right. No, you're totally right, dude. But in his case, it's almost like a Joe Burrow scenario, where they're bringing him in to start day one.
But it doesn't mean he'll be great day one.
No, it doesn't. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I made a whole video about this after Joe Burrow got hurt. It's like, is that the right move when you need better offensive line? You need better coaching. You need a better supporting cast for this, star quarterback that you're trying to bring in that's got such a good profile. I mean, we go back in time and look at what happened to Andrew Luck. We look at what happened to David Carr. These guys that just came in, they were 1.1 draft picks from college because they were incredible in college, but then they went to a really bad team with a really bad offensive line, supporting cast in the pros, and they got the shit kicked out of them for, a bunch of years, to the point where they basically retired early.
Yeah, it's crazy. What's your take on Gardner, though? Like, it's a weird spot for him.
I like Gardner. I mean, it was unfortunate, man. They came out week one. They beat the Colts in a game where they were, definitely the underdogs, and his cards went through the roof that week one because, it was like, oh, yeah, Gardner is good. He had a good rookie year when he came in. After Nick Foles got hurt in 2019, he had a good the rest of 2019, and then he came in 2020. Week one, they beat the Colts. It was like, holy crap! Oh yeah, Gardner Minshew. And then he fractured his thumb on his throwing hand, and he actually was trying to play it, and it didn't work out. And it just got worse until the point where he sat out. He missed time. But I think he's definitely going to come back because he's very smart and he's got a good accuracy rating. He's not the most mobile guy, but maybe if he eats some of Tom Brady's shit.
Jason, I was just eating oatmeal here. Come on, man. You can't do that to me.
He must be on that Tom Brady liquid diet today, too. So, I've actually bought a few Gardner Minshew PSA 10 cards for around $30. I just think anytime you can buy a PSA 10 of a player that could potentially start in the NFL, and plays somewhat decent, that has proven themselves to be somewhat decent at the professional level, and they're under the age apex, meaning he's only like 23, 24 years old. He was a 2019 rookie. Why would you not buy that card unless that was the last $30 you had in your bank account? Obviously, don't do that, But
yeah,
that's a great buy for just buying it and holding and waiting till there's hype around him, and will so easily double or triple or even more in value.
Well, also that price point at $25, $30, $35, because I got a couple Gardner Minshew PSA 10s for about 35, maybe 38 or $40. But it's at a price where I go, all right, this could easily jump to 80. So 40 to 80 can happen very easily, because still $80 for a PSA 10 Prism is not very much. But I bought, this is what I'm upset about. And I'm actually quite upset because it's more of a mystery. I had about 4 packages delivered to me that was delivered to my PO box that I have no idea where they're at. I don't know if I picked them up. I don't know what happened, but I have not seen them. And 2 of them were Jameis Winston PSA 10 rookie cards. One was his Topps Chrome. The other was his Prism. And I paid $42 and $48 a piece, right? Very little for a PSA 10. Then obviously, just with Drew Brees, his contract, like trying to get the veteran minimum so that it helps the salary cap, whatever, that was enough for Jameis Winston's PSA 10s to go up to about 90 or 95 bucks. That could have been an easy flip of 2x, except I have no idea where these packages are. I don't know if the post office lost them. I lost them. Either way, there's 4 or 5 cards, like $200 worth of stuff that is just like floating out somewhere. It's like, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to see them on eBay at some point, but either way, that was the same philosophy of Jameis Winston. You know, like a great backup quarterback, I think, is an amazing investment for that short period of time. If they're young, if they're streaky, if things like if the starting quarterback is either questionable or just, you know, the offensive line gives up a lot of sacks, the quarterback's fragile, a lot of things like that where no one pays attention to the backup quarterback until they're not the backup anymore and they're in the starting role. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, who is this dude? And I know there was
the greatest example of that, in the 2020 season was Marcus Mariota, because Derek Carr, you know, Vegas has obviously picked up a much bigger fan base now that they're in Vegas, the Raiders. And when Derek Carr got hurt and Las Vegas had a chance still to make the playoffs at that point, and Mariota went on the field and he lit up the scoreboard with yards on his legs and throwing the ball. I mean, his cards went through the roof, but it was literally a 1-week spike. Like, I would love for you to pull up that chart, because it was literally like a 1-week spike where his cards went from that $25, $30 to $100+ for that same card within overnight, literally, because you have this hype focused attention, you know, a Thursday night game, big market team, their star quarterback goes down. They've got good supporting cast, you know, they've got good coaching and Gruden and this and that. And that exact scenario happened. You got a guy that comes in that was incredible in college and he's just streaky, right? He's a guy that's streaky in the NFL. He's not super consistent. And if he could play like he did that first night in all his games, then there'd be a lot more demand for his cards. But in that one game, he came in and lit it up. And people went wild for his cards until the next week, and he came out and it was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Mariota's not that great. He's just streaky.
What do you remember what
and then
week
Carr
that
was
was?
back. Oh, that was guys, that was like November, December timeframe. It wasn't too far before the playoffs.
Okay, well, this is a very strange chart because Marcus Mariota only has 1 card in Market Movers, which is his PSA 10 Topps Chrome. So let me share it. But but there's not a lot of sales. So I think that's the one thing that's weird about like a player like his, where there's only 20 sales in a whole season or 30 sales. Then it's like, you know, it's not as accurate as if
he's a 2015 rookie, same as Jameis Winston.
So I mean, I don't know if it was here. This is December, but then
it was right before the playoffs, so that looks about right.
Well, I mean, this is the whole season right here. Is August 31st up until December. So there may have not been one for sale on eBay that registered, or if it was the week before Christmas, but I forgot if that's playoffs already. I don't know. And I forgot. I guess the regular season was still going on there, but also these numbers are tiny. Look, $60 is the high, and 20. Well, I guess that's pretty damn low. $15 for a PSA 10. Like it it costs 15 or 18 bucks to get it graded. So it's basically
Crazy,
free
right?
at this point.
Like literally, yeah, you could type in Marcus Mariota or Marcus MA on StarStock, and you got to scroll like 2 pages down to find him. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I remember that
2015.
year. That year is a lot of debate between which one's going to be better, Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston. And I don't know. They're both just backup quarterbacks at this point. I don't think they're ever going to. I don't know if Jameis Winston's going to start next year. Do you think? You think he is
Sean
worthy
Payton
of
doesn't trust
starting?
him. Sean Payton doesn't trust his ass.
What do you mean? I thought they talked about how the Saints want to sign Jameis and keep him in the system and whatever else.
Well, if they do, then that's news to me. I mean, I could see it, right? But obviously, he didn't trust them during the regular season when Drew Brees got hurt. It was Taysom Hill's role. But then the playoffs, he did give him the trick play, and he launched it, got the nice touchdown. But this is the Marcus Mariota chart on StarStock.
Mm,
You could see right there. It was the middle of December, and
yeah.
you know,
Okay.
it just
I think that was the same here. I think that was the same here. It was like the
yeah, I just
17th, 20 or
that's why I
17th or
love using
24th.
StarStock because people will flock to this immediately. Like, if you really like, I did this with Carson Wentz. I actually was like, whenever I heard the news that Carson Wentz was being traded to the Bears, they came out and they talked about it. It's a very highly likely probability this deal will go down within the week. I immediately came on to StarStock to see what's going on. People were buying up Carson Wentz rookie cards left and right. And, you know, that's another great story around Jalen Hurts because he was the rookie. I even talked about him, my first cornerstone video before the season ever started, that Jalen Hurts, highly mobile, you know, didn't have great accuracy in college, but certainly showed signs that he could be the guy, you know?
Mm,
And they finally got tired of Carson Wentz. They needed a change in Philadelphia because they needed to see what they had, right? They needed to see what their rookie could do because Carson Wentz comes with a big contract and they want to win. So they put in Jalen Hurts, and the guy's a stud. And so his
mm,
card prices went through the roof. And but before that, they were, you know, you could buy those at Jordan Love type of prices.
mm. Well, Jordan Love's another interesting guy when you have Aaron Rodgers being so good. I would definitely look into Jordan Love cards. The problem I have with 2020 rookies and even 2019 rookies is that there's so much being printed and so much left or still circulating PSA and that haven't been opened in boxes yet. I just don't want to pay a lot of money for something that's going to go through the roof in pop reports in the next couple months. I want to know that it's going to be roughly this number. It's going to grow a bit, but it's not going to like triple and quadruple so soon. There was a really good question I wanted to pull up, and it was from, let's see, I think it's Jake TV here. He put, do you spend more money? Would you spend more money and get an Optic rookie card or a lot less and get donruss? So let's just say it's $20 for an Optic rookie card, and the donruss is $3 each, and you get 6 donruss paper, and you can get 1 Optic. What's your thought process there? And there's a good debate
It depends
on
on
it
what
in the chat.
it depends on what my bankroll is at the time. If my bankroll, let's so for example, like I'm not going to spend all my money on one card, you know. So if all I had left, just using StarStock as an example, was $20, I would rather get the 4 donruss, base donruss at $5 each, and then the 1 Optic at 20.
Okay. So my
Especially if I
theory.
felt that as well. Let me just add one more thing. Especially if I felt that $5 base donruss compared to other athletes in his year in similar situations was extremely underpriced, meaning like I felt like the ceiling would be $20-$30 plus, then absolutely I'm buying those 4 base donruss, especially on StarStock, because I noticed that there's a lot more low end flips in
Mm,
that 50 and under range on StarStock than anything else.
okay. So that leads into my answer, which is If it's a player that I think it's short term and I think there's a 1 week or 2 week or 3 week period to really sell, I'd rather go with the Prism or Optic or the card that people will flock to, even if it's not the most amounts of money, versus a donruss paper, which is usually down the list in terms of desirability. So I remember doing this, like I did this a lot on Comp C, where I would buy cheaper cards of guys or second year prisms or whatever, and it never reached that point because by the time people stopped caring about the player, it was only the prism and the optic and the select that had shot up. And for me, I'm thinking to myself, all right, if it's a Patrick Mahomes donruss paper rookie card, that's easy. That's like, okay, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's fine for a long time. There's going to be hype. Like, he has a legacy, all that. If it's a player that I think I'm still very hesitant on, but I know that when I want to sell, I want to be able to move it. And there's not too much sales history on StarStock or CompC or eBay. And I know that when people read the headline or when they see a great game from this guy or a highlight, what card are they going to go to? And I want to make sure that if I want to get out, it is the card that will allow me to get out, even if it's not for the most biggest profit. I just want to make sure I have the right card to sell. And I think with paper donruss, it's like more reserved for Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, some of these guys that I go, all right, your prisms and optics and everything are at such high levels, and you're such a fixture and a mainstay on your team and in the NFL. I feel okay about paper donruss being able to move. But for a tight end or a wide receiver that's young, that doesn't even have super high optic or prism prices, my concern would be, will they peak and then deflate or like come back down before the prices even hit the donruss level, or before people actually think about the paper donruss card?
No doubt, man. And I see that a lot in especially the skill positions, the wide receivers and running backs, because they are so cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's that bankroll principle in mind, because a lot of people will see a prism, you know, a silver prism even, or a silver select, or a select premier, or a select field level for $25 of their favorite, you know, wide receiver, running back that's getting a lot of hype. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'll spend $25 on that one card, you know, looking from a collection standpoint, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, versus getting the paper card. But when it comes to a quarterback, like you're saying, someone that has a prism, or some wide receivers as well, you know, you like
Like
look
a
at DK
DK.
Metcalf
Yeah.
or Devontae Adams or even Mike Evans right now, you know, guys like that, DeAndre Hopkins. Um,
Mm-hmm.
their prisms, and especially their field level selects and stuff like that, are up there. You know, they're in that $50 to $100 range. So now you have a lot more attention, like you're saying, on the paper cards, the base donruss, and the Topps Chrome, and some of those guys' cases, going back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I yeah, I totally get what you're saying there.
yeah, I think it's just a matter of how established is that player and how long of a period will you have to sell. And the longer the period and the bigger the legacy, the more it'll trail down to paper donruss, second year cards, whatever else. But if it's a short thing, if it's a short-term flip, I would go for the prism, the optic, and really that's it. Maybe the select. But even on Comp C, I don't flip very many selects, even though the prices are great. I think it's just because, like, all right, when people want to buy this player, they go straight to prism. If prism's too high, they go to optic. And then by the time those sales have happened, it's on to
So
the
yeah,
next.
that brings me to an interesting question. Oh, sorry, you got cut off. I thought you were done talking there.
No, I was, but let me continue talking because you gave it back to me. Select retail.
Select
Select.
retail, man. That's big news, y'all.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have all heard that, but I saw a text. I don't know if it was from Boris or Dustin,
That was from
Hobby
me, Brad.
Box or Personal Finance Dad, or was it you? Did you send it?
That was from me, Brad.
Oh, okay.
But you
Well, it
can
was
give
from the
credit to
Fantasy Football
Dustin,
Card Club.
because he typically has bad internet, and we feel bad for him. So
But all right, so it was a little note at a store, right? It was like a note on the racks of some retail store saying there's a delay of 2021 select hanger boxes and mega boxes and blasters and whatever else. And I'm like, holy crap, it's going retail. Select football is going retail. I don't know if that's a surefire thing for basketball, but that's pretty that's big news. So I don't know if it's confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that is happening. So I want to get your thoughts first.
Wow, man. I initially, when I saw that, I was like, holy crap, because we've been talking about that for a while being a big deal. The only reason why Select hasn't gotten more eyeballs and popularity that it has is because it's not sold in retail and people can't chase it in retail. And now that it's going to retail, I'm like, holy crap, that's going to bring a lot of eyeballs to Select. And I think the initial reaction is that the value of all the prior Select sets that have been printed before this year, this new retail year of Select, are going to go up in value because a lot more eyeballs are going to go to the current year of Select.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. And full disclosure, I love Select. It's my favorite set. I have a lot of Select football that is all sitting at PSA. I think it's like 350 first-year football Select cards or something like that, 200 to 300 Select football base cards at PSA of Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, etc. And when I saw this, I was like, holy crap, this is exactly what I thought months and months ago, because I literally said to someone, I don't know if I said it to you, I said, the upside of Select is huge because it looks good. It's not produced as much, but people don't really know about it at first because it's not broken everywhere. They're not seeing it in the public. So if they ever do it, it's going to blow up. And I'd be very surprised if Select football does not blow up from the early years. So one thing I'm looking at that I'm really I'm weighing on my mind, but I think this is where I'm going to go, is when I look at football cards, if I could buy an Optic rookie, a Select rookie, or a Prism rookie card of, let's say, Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson, even though it wouldn't be Russell Wilson, but one of those guys, I would probably lean towards Select. And the assumption or the reasoning is because with Select coming out in like a month's time or 2 months' time, if that creates such a boom, I expect every Select rookie card to have a bit more attention, a bit more respect, and all that kind of stuff, just like you're saying. But I'd rather buy in the low period where all football's on sale, but instead of targeting just Lamar Jackson's Prism or just Lamar Jackson's Optic, I look at, all right, what are the Lamar Jackson Selects going for? What are the print runs? Because next season, when people are searching for Lamar Jackson's rookie card, when they want to buy his card, they might actually include Select in that search versus just assuming Prism or just doing Prism and Optic. I think Select has that capability to be like, okay, I want Lamar Jackson's rookie card. Let me compare his Prism, Select, and Optic versus Select being that forgotten about set that's a lot nicer than people realize. Select High Life, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, man.
I got my Select High Life poster created by Thomas, and I got to print out a good one, but you see it right next to my finger. It's a giant 2 foot by 2 foot square, and he designed this logo to look like the Miller High Life. In fact, let me oh well, damn, that's way worse. Hold on. Yeah. So there it is.
Oh, shout out Thomas, Costa Rica. What's going on, brother?
There it is.
There it is.
Get my point down. Okay. And I got to print out another one because that one wasn't it didn't print correctly at Staples, so I got to go back, print out a good one, and then I'll showcase it. But yeah, man, I think Select's great.
I do too.
What's up, man? Dude, I need more baklava. I was actually upset because I've been doing baklava the last couple of cards and cake lives, and I love it. But then the damn grocery store discontinued carrying that baklava, so I have to get like this gigantic one where it's like $35. I'm not going to drop $35 on 2 pounds of like Valentine's Day bouquet baklava.
Jordan, welcome to the show, brother.
What's up, Jordan?
Had this conversation. Just rewind like 2 minutes and
Yeah,
you'll get
yeah, go
all
back.
our thoughts on Select.
But huge, man. It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
It's huge. I think it's huge because just like you were saying, no one starts off in the hobby with Select. If you are going to the retailers, if you're going online on Instagram, you're probably not seeing Select. You're probably seeing the other boxes and packs being broke. And now you have to like learn about Select as you go into the hobby. Like, what are these other sets that people know about and talk about, and what's the differences? And I think that's where it's gonna be a set that people can start the hobby with.
I'll let you take this question because it's got a Kobe Bryant on his profile picture, and I know Kobe
Base
Bryant
Card
paid your
Collector. What's up, man?
Kobe Bryant paid your rent last month, so
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He did. Actually, the last couple months. Will the Select cards be good, dude? That's a good question. I have no clue, but I'm hoping that they don't print the Select retail stuff like crazy. I'm hoping it's more of like a soft opening year where they mass produce all the other stuff and then they keep Select a pretty high quality card. But at the same time, the older Select stuff I just believe in even more than, like I think with the way cards are being printed so much and we don't know when boxes are going to be broke open. We don't know if someone has 5,000 boxes in a warehouse that they're holding for the next few years, all that kind of stuff. I would rather just wait for 2 years in. Like, I'd rather focus on the players that are right now 2018, knowing that in the next couple months, the majority of those cards should be back from PSA. And I could look at, all right, this is how much roughly is available. But when I look at the new stuff, I'm like, dude, this is like WWE Royal Rumble when you have like 50 wrestlers in the one ring and it's just mayhem. That's how I think of it with new product, where I don't know what to think because the pop report goes from 10 to 100 to 1,000 to 5,000 to 10,000. And now I paid so much money for something that it turns out there's way more of than I thought. So back to your question, no clue. I'm hoping for the best, but just hoping for the best. I just don't know.
yeah. And I sell Select just fine on Star Stock, for the record. Like, I've sold tons of Select just as easily as I've sold Prism and Optic since the beginning of the season. It just has been a little bit slower, but they've all sold. It's just been a little bit like people definitely go to the Prism first, the Optic first, and it you have to take into that price range into consideration. If there's a Prism there for $15 and you have a Select at 10, I think that the person's gonna be like, which one did I like better? And then knowing that the Prism has always been touted as the most popular, the most liquid, this and that, people go to the Prism. But now with Select going to retail, it's got to bring more popularity. Got to.
It can't be less, right? I don't see it as like Select retail announce less unless they say like, we're going to make the ugliest Select card ever, the worst quality ever. But even then, I don't think that would hurt the prior year Select. And I saw some really good comments in there in terms of pop report and just different stuff. I mean, it's just, I think the thing is, look, yeah, there's some, David, great point. Like Luka and Zion, his numbers were through the roof. Yeah, it's like 15,000 plus PSA 10s. However, I would rather have the same card or the same player's rookie card for the same price with only 1,000 and just play that game of, okay, well, maybe there's less people interested in the card than the Prism, but if there's 1/15 of it, then I'll take my chances. So like Kyler Murray, when I was buying his PSA 10s, I'm like, well, there's 1,700, 1,800 of these, while there's only 300 and somewhat of the Russell Wilson Prism PSA 10s after all these years. I would much rather have the Russell Wilsons for 1,000 than Kyler Murray's for 400. And I was still buying that 400, the Kyler Murray's, thinking that was a good price. But now I see that pop report go up and up and up. And I want to make sure that when I sell the card on eBay, it's not me and 50 others listing the same card at the same time. And then it's like, damn, this is the window in which I would like to sell, but I have all these people listing the card. And Kyler Murray, he's a football player. It's Arizona. It's not talking about LeBron James or Luka or someone that has 20 million followers around the world. So I guess maybe I'm a bit more conservative on the pop report, but I just don't want to be stuck holding a card that I think is quite rare when if I just waited 6 months or a year later, I would find out that it's really common.
Yeah. So
Thanks, Eric.
I've heard rumors that there's an upwards of 2 million cards in PSA's backlog. I don't know if that's what you've heard. More or less.
I've actually heard more. I thought I heard like 4 million or something insane, but okay. But see, here's the thing. That sucks, right? That kind of sucks. But at the same time, maybe that just means that this hobby will be growing and sustaining itself for a lot longer based on the fact that people have so much money tied up into these cards and so much riding on it that you can't say like the bubble's going to burst and it just be over when all these cards are going to be coming back in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. So maybe that's optimistic, but we can't really do much about that.
Have you looked at hybridgrading.com yet?
Is that HGA?
HGA.
I'm a fan of HGH. I'm not a fan of HGA just yet. HGH, I'm good for. I want some of that stuff, but HGA.
So, I've looked at some comps of, and let's see if I could just share my screen with you here. Remove that. I'm going to share a new screen with you, Brad. Stop screen.
Okay. Yeah, share the screen. That's what I believe, Blaine. I just feel like I feel like based on what I'm seeing with so many cards coming back from newer players, I would much rather spend the same money and time on 2018, 2017, 2016 guys where the numbers are pretty clear versus who the hell knows what's going to happen and how many cards are going to come back. All right, what do you got there?
Holy crap. Well, first of all, these are the Tom Brady 20. This is not his rookie card. These are 2020 cards. I just wanted to illustrate how wild prices have gotten for Tom Brady right now. These are 2020 cards. Just looking at a 2020 Prism PSA 10 silver Pop 2 sold February 5th for $11,000.
Wait. So are you sure that's the price that it's sold for? Because I don't know if eBay shows the price that actually sold for.
Well, they'll show this, though. Best offer accepted with a line through it. And this one doesn't have a best offer accepted. This one just says sold February 5th for $10,999.
Okay, there was a site that I used to use. I haven't in a long time, but it was called Card Snoop. So let me look up one of those cards just to see if it's the same. What's the name? 2020. What's the name of one of the cards? I'll pull it up and I'll see if it says something.
Okay, it was a 2020 Prism Silver Tom Brady PSA 10.
All right, let's see if there's anything in here, and then I'll pull up the screen. But I love this website because it showed a lot of those metrics that you wouldn't see elsewhere. Okay, so do you have? All right, so let me share the screen here, or let me take a look. Go back to that exact card. I want to see if we can find the exact price that it sold for.
So this is,
and then if you give me the date, that'd be great too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got the date. This was February 5th, which was Saturday, right? Yeah, Saturday.
So February 5th and
5:51 p.m.
Oh my! Well, this says offer accepted $10,999. That's a bit strange. Maybe that's like a fake thing. I don't know. I don't know if someone like accepted the offer but didn't pay. Because I mean, come on, like that's stupid.
What, dude? It's Tom Brady. It's a PSA. It's a silver PSA 10 in the Bucs uniform. I'm saying the prices have tripled and quadrupled because I bought a base Prism and a red cracked ice 2020 Prism Tom Brady back in early January, like first week of the year, maybe even late December, and I bought those cards for I bought the red cracked ice for $33. That same card now I could sell today for $200.
This is $11,000. This is a silver prism. This is not like numbered to 5. This, okay. In contrast, a Tom Brady rookie card with way less produced or whatever else, or just more notoriety overall, is not selling for this. Except a couple are, but most of them are not selling for this. $11,000.
No, most of them are selling for more than this, bro. Like graded well, they're selling for more.
All right, I'll have to look up all the different ones because there's many. There's Bowman Chrome. I think there's
that's the biggest one. The Bowman Chrome.
Right,
I mean, that one's selling for more than this. I know.
Right, but this is a base card. Yes, it's him in a Bucks jersey, but it's a silver prism. It's not a super, super rare prism. This is like,
but
silver.
It's super rare to PSA, and I'm wondering, like, who's throwing around 11 Gs on population 2 PSA 10?
I think it's someone that's stupid that doesn't realize that pop of 2 is going to grow to a pop of like 300 in 2 weeks' time or in a month's time.
Or 2 years' time in PSA time.
Well, I mean, you can do the $50 per card.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I mean, look at this. And maybe
I'm talking. I forgot to plug in my computer.
Okay. LeBron 10 silver didn't come close to his first year as a Laker. No one won 20-year Brady. No way. I agree with Brad. Well, I agree with you too. It just, would you rather have Tom Brady's rookie card, which is known as the card to get, which is 20 years old plus, or would you rather have this brand new shiny card where we don't know how many are going to exist? Now, as a fan, the Buccaneer jersey is phenomenal. However, overall for Tom Brady, the legacy, I want his rookie card. If Michael Jordan won with the Wizards, I still would want Michael Jordan 87th Fleer or 86th Fleer rookie card. I would not want that first year when Michael Jordan was with the Wizards and he won a championship. That wouldn't mean a thing. I don't know if this sale is legit or someone's really stupid, but that is like, I would never pay close to that price, in my opinion.
Well, neither would I. I mean, I would pay $35 though for a red cracked ice of Brady in the Bucks jersey, but
yeah, I mean, I want
Jeremy.
Jeremy's in the house. Thanks, man. Thanks. It's been very special, so we appreciate it.
Show off my just show it off. I do have Brady rookie card too, but there's that Brady in the red. Yeah,
now,
I love the red.
Who out there wants to pay $6,000 for it? Andy will sell it for $6,000.
I'll sell it for $300.
Yeah, there you go. It's a great card.
No, actually, I don't want to sell it. I just want to keep it as a collector's item. But I could sell this today for like $200.
Well, you know what's great about that card specifically, though, is you get that graded with PSA, and the red label of PSA actually looks good on that card, unlike a lot of other teams where you have like a teal or a purple or a yellow or something where just like it looks really ugly with that red label. But you get a red cracked ice of a Buccaneer player or a Chief or something like that, it'll look good. But anyway, back to that card. I don't believe that someone, either they paid and they have no idea what they're doing, or it's something that is a bit fishy, because $11,000 for a silver prism card of Tom Brady in his 20th year is just ridiculous to me. If it was like 500, I would believe it. But to me, like 500, 800, something like that, okay. 11,000 is just absurd.
I'm going to send some cards into these people.
You want to?
I am going to. I've checked actually their so what they do to ensure their turnaround times is they cap a submission each week, and it's tied to their website. So after so many people submit, then they close it down, and then it opens every Friday night, I believe, at like 8 p.m. until it fills up again, and then they stop allowing people to submit. That's how they control their turnaround times.
I think that's great, but my question is I think this is a great concept for collectors. As an investor, it just confuses me because I have no idea if they're going to be around in 6 months or a year, if More than anything, I don't really care. I want them to do well. It's more just like, all right, if I see their card on eBay for sale, how much can I pay for it, or how much should I pay for it, and how much will other people pay for it? And it's so new that I don't know how the public perceive them yet. And maybe they're doing everything great right now, but then one scandal comes up in 3 months, and then they have to start all over, and all their cards that are on eBay aren't selling for a fraction of what they were. So I hope they do well. They're so new that I don't even know what to think of them at this point.
I've gotten really good responses from everybody on Twitter about hybrid grading, and one guy pointed out that that's not HGA related. What the heck is all this
Why are
stuff?
you on
I
eBay?
wanted HGA. I'm on eBay, right?
Yeah, search.
Yeah, okay.
Press the search, the giant blue box.
Oh, there it is. I was looking for the Zion. So,
dude,
someone told me that a PSA comparable of this Zion right here.
You're not sharing the
sold
screen.
for within
I'm just looking at
$25.
Here, this screen.
What?
I'm just looking at some dude looking at a ring and some power tools and some random stuff on eBay's homepage.
Really?
Yeah. Scroll down.
Oh, look what happened, dude.
Then hit the search bar.
You're not seeing the right window.
Okay, so
I don't know how that happened.
You shared the individual page, not the whole screen. Was it that one of those things?
It opened up a new window, which is really strange.
Gotcha. Okay.
It opened up, but so there's quite a few on here. People are giving them a lot of business right now. As you saw, I was just on their website and they're maxed out. Every week I look at it, they're maxed out. So I'm gonna have to be quick on it. I want to, submit cards to them. But that's how they control their turnaround times, is by capping the submissions on their website. And I've noticed that their resale value is fairly similar to PSA.
Their resale value.
Yeah, the resale value. So this card, okay, so let's just use this as an example. This is a current bid. It hasn't sold yet. I was trying to find one that's sold. But we could look up that's a PSA 10. That's going to be a PSA 10 for $1,450.
Yeah, as long as it's sold already. So that's actually a really good experiment. Let's see what cards have sold and if there's some sort of comparable. Because if it's as long as there's a way to tell what it's comparable to, it makes it a lot easier. If it's all over the place, then it's really hard to determine, especially if they have such low numbers of cards actually out in the wild, in the system.
Well, it was this. So here's maybe we could find a comparable of this. This is a Kobe White 2019-20 Hoops Premium Silver HGA 9.5. So maybe if I can do this, and this card sold for $200. So maybe if I can do this and just see in general.
Okay. And then my question is, well, what is a 9.5 for HGA? Is that like BGS?
It's more like BGS because they have all the grading criteria listed on the front of their card,
Okay. So, but in terms of pricing, a 9.5 would not equate to a PSA, because PSA, you either round down to a 9 or you round up to a 10, but neither is going to be very accurate. So if it's an HGA, I think that's the tough thing. I think if it's a 9, that would be the closest to PSA, because if it's a 10, well, BGS 10 is like the best card ever. So I don't know. I think it's just going to take a lot of research to see where it's selling, and it could change any week. I mean, maybe they do really well and their prices are neck and neck with PSA. Maybe they do poorly and it starts dropping, and maybe it just depends on the card. Like, there's not enough cards to really see. Because, I mean, for example, these would be mostly modern cards. I don't know if anyone's sending in a rookie card of Anthony Davis or of, I don't know,
I was thinking of sending them my Tom Brady rookie card.
Yeah, might as well.
Because I mean, it's a collection piece for me at this point.
Get a nice label.
I would love to have it in a slab and graded,
And a nice
because they
looking
make so
spot.
many reprints of Tom Brady's rookie card. And
Yeah.
I like how they color coordinate things at HGA.
Hmm.
But I can't find an exact comparable of this variation in a PSA.
Yeah, it would have to be a more common card. It would have to be just like a base rookie
It's tough,
card.
dude.
But I think also
So
with the pricing of HGA, it's what, $30 a card or something like it's not they don't have the
yeah.
bulk cheap service. So if it's 30 a card, you're probably sending in the silvers, the parallels, or the higher end base rookies. It's not like you're going to send in a you know, optic base rookie card of the wide receiver for $30, at least not now.
So there you go. I mean, the HGA is, and this is February 10th. So that card is selling for $200 to $300, PSA 9, and the HGA is listed at 200. Hasn't sold yet. So it'll be an interesting, card to watch there. Actually, I should watch that.
Yeah, this is a really interesting point because I thought about this briefly because anything's possible. It's really like, all right, so Blaine's comment is, I've seen people say HGA is bidding up their cards on eBay to draw hype. Do y'all think that could be the case? I think anything could be the case because it is very easy when all the data goes to these data tools like Card Ladder and Market Movers and whatnot, and people like myself use the data to be able to make investment decisions for myself, but then also share what I'm doing with everyone else. So it's a very easy way to say, okay, we can buy the first couple months worth of cards. It's going to be a big hit, but we can buy it up. It's going to create this perceived value that we are a legitimate company that can go neck and neck in terms of return on investments with PSA. And that's going to bring in people to the point where that is actually the case. That could actually happen. Like, because I think it's very easy to do this type of stuff. I don't know if that's true. I would hope it's not, but it's definitely a thought that entered my mind because it's so new, right? I mean, like, if this was 3 years later, I'd be like, okay, you know what? If that was the case, it probably stopped doing it by now. But when something is so new, I'm like, like NBA Top Shot. I think someone here, see you later, Thomas. I think someone here who said talking about NBA Top Shot where the prices were through the roof and then it's down. When things are new, everything goes through the roof. And because of that, I get very fearful and I want to just step to the side and look at the 3-year-old stuff, the 5-year-old stuff, and just be like, okay, when all this dust settles and I understand what the hell's going on, then I'll be able to go in with a clear mind and actually make some sense of it. But new sets, new cards, new platforms, new grading companies, all this, I'm not touching it until other people have already touched the stove and haven't gotten burnt.
That's a great point. I'm with you there, and that's why I really like to invest in my skill position guys and my QBs that their cards aren't brand new. Although I do buy a decent share of 2020 stuff, it's mainly like I bought a Jalen Hurts Prism rookie for $20. I feel like Jalen Hurts is a stud. He's only going to go up in September, so I'm okay with that. And a couple skill position guys 2020 that are just super low that I feel are going to be hyped up in September. I'm cool with that. I'll buy those guys all day long. But other than that, it's a lot of, I like to stick mostly under the age apex besides Tom Brady. But, so for me, that's guys that are younger than 28.
Yeah. I mean, I think I like to go with, I like the Tom Brady's. I like the Russell Wilsons. I like the guys that are, their floor is pretty high, but their ceiling is still not reached yet. Where you're like, you still have years left. You still have this. But I would feel a lot better with these newer players and these rookies if there was more of if there was less volatility, if there was more of a steadiness in the hobby. But this last 18 months, 12 months has been so insane that I'm just nervous because it's so much money in and there's so many different things popping up that it's like a kid in a candy store, and it's just like candy's changing all the time. This is, you got to try this, you got to do this. I'm like, all right, let me step back and let me wait for this to last 6 months or a year, and for other people to figure out if this is good or not. But I'm not going to walk in the open field first and then me be the one standing on the landmine. Y'all want to stand on the landmines? You do it. You get your lights going off. I'm going to chill back here. And when everyone goes through and I say, oh, that's the path, I'm going to go down that path. But to me, there's just too many ways to spend money carelessly. And then, you get burnt and you get bitter because you thought this was the new shiny thing. This was the thing that you got to get in now. There's always going to be opportunity. There's always going to be opportunity to get in, to buy something low. But I would just rather miss out on making lots of money in certain ways in order to avoid losing a lot of money very quickly. I'd rather play more of the moderate, lower risk, moderate to high reward versus super high risk, super high reward. But then, you do that and you think you're good, you think everything's great, and then you just are wiped out. And I don't want to play that game. Thank you. I'm the anal king. All right.
Boom. Yeah. Jordan's comments been hilarious tonight.
Yeah, he's there with
the dirt. Caught that one earlier.
I spoke to Jordan. I actually had a chat with Jordan. Yeah, it was good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we're very like-minded. No risk it, no biscuit. But if Bruce Arians wants to invest in cards, he could do so. Yeah. Maybe Bruce Arians bought that card, that Tom Brady card.
Maybe he did. Shoot.
Yeah, there's the no biscuit part right there. Yeah, I actually have a couple cupcakes looking at me right over there. I was like, damn, you're just out of reach. You're about like 3 feet out of reach, and I wasn't sure if I would have them tonight or not. But I mean, I think that's just the point. Is like, what? Yeah, Jordan. Yeah, we have a very similar mentality. There's just a lot of ways to make money and lose money, but I think the way to make money is always highlighted because that's what people really want to accomplish. And so everything on Instagram, everything on YouTube, everything everywhere else is, look what I made, look what I made. But the harsh reality is, if you made this, well, then that means someone bought at the highest price possible. And they might not get that money back if they either sell or if that player doesn't perform or if more people don't enter the hobby, which will elevate those prices. So, got to look at the pros and the cons of everything. I don't think that wouldn't be fair for me to say that HGA is hyping up their own prices and they're buying up their own cards. It's a thought that I'll entertain because I need to be a bit conservative at first, and I got to be a bit more aware of the different types of ways companies and people can influence prices for their own gain. But I'll never assume that they're doing that. It's just something that I've got to keep in the back of my mind.
Yeah, for sure. I'm probably a little bit more trusting than you are. But also I've kind of let my collector side come out a bit more for sure here in the last couple months. It's just so much fun, Dude, and I like taking some profits or just some excess hobby money and like getting cards that I really want. Like that's why I got all these red cracked ice Bucks players on my wall.
Yeah, no, I love them, man. They're beautiful cards. And I was going to ask you if you got that job or not, or what happened, man. Any word? I'm not sure. What did you say?
Great. Just ask me on a live stream, Brad. That's awesome.
Keeping it casual.
No, well, let's just say no. And I've changed which is good. It's actually good. It's all good things for this channel, guys. Very good things for this channel. I do have a new custom logo that I just got designed that I almost unveiled it tonight, and I asked my wife's opinion, and she said, no, I shouldn't do it tonight. I'm going to make a cinematic, dramatic video intro and reveal it. But no, nothing's changing except for, I'm going to continue to ramp up and increase the value I provide in my content, entertainment, education, inspiration around football cards. Definitely have bought a few vintage cards, and I've been more heavily involved in vintage research lately, and at the same time, buying. Well, this week anyways, been buying Daniel Jones rookie cards like crazy.
Mm.
But we'll see what I get into next week.
Yeah, man. Well, we got the draft coming up, and you got a lot of off season, so I'm looking forward to a lot of great content from you. And yeah, I mean, dude, I think next season, it's like the one thing football has over the other sports, even though it is national, it's not. I mean, I know there's like a bit of a following in other countries, like just mildly, but the fantasy side is so untapped compared to the amount of people that are in fantasy that love fantasy that should be interested in cards as well, that I think football will be very safe next season, even though it's not as big as soccer or basketball in terms of international appeal.
I appreciate you, Jordan. Have you
There it
been
is, right?
investing in any cryptocurrency, Brad?
No, not that I'm against it. I just don't know it. I just don't study it. I don't know it. And it's one
Yeah.
of those things where if I don't go all in, I'm too hesitant to pull the trigger on something where I just read 5 articles and listen to a friend casually. I need to be like, all right, I know more than 90% of people. If I feel good about that, if I know more than 90% of people investing, then I'd feel good with going in. Right now, it's like I remember hearing the U.S. has printed more money in the last year than, I don't know, like something crazy, like something like the last more money printed in the last year than in the last 20 years or something stupid. But it's a scary number where that makes me think, all right, well, NBA Top Shot and Bitcoin and gold and silver and everything. Is that really that people really believe in this stuff, or they're just scared as hell to hold U.S. currency because it's just being printed even more than Panini cards at this point? So yeah, that's something to consider though. Like, is that temporary? If they stop printing all this money and it's like, all right, things are going back to normal, will there be this relaxation of prices around a lot of this stuff, cards included? I don't know.
No, you're right. What really startles me is that I've had two what I consider, older people. My dad and my father-in-law. They're both in their 60s, and they're very, anti-technology. Don't have Facebook, Twitter, none of that. My dad's like, I don't believe in that stuff, but he does subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch my videos and this and that. And this week I've heard both of them send me texts about investing in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
Mm,
And I
mm,
know it's going up, and they've obviously heard a lot of stuff on probably Fox or something that, say it's going to keep. I don't know. I just figured I'd ask you because that Dogecoin was the one my dad specifically sent me, and then my father-in-law, he just said Bitcoin in general. So I was
mm.
curious to get your take on that. You're a
Well,
finance
well,
guru.
well, I mean, like I just try and study what makes sense and what I believe in. And to me, there's an old saying in investing where it's like, if you hear about the stock tip from your grandmother, then it's already too late. And I'm starting to think about like, well, if people that are not interested in it are talking about it, they might be the last segment of that wave. Kind of like people talking about investing in Tom Brady cards the week of the Super Bowl. Like, where were you? or you know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, what were you? Or someone that is buying up whatever card right the day before the season begins, and you're like, yeah, but why are you only doing this now? Right? Baseball season is going to start in a couple months. Why would you buy the day before opening day when the price is a fraction of that before that? So if I would rather be the first one, or at least among the first people in whatever, and understand that, then be like, well, you're talking about it and you're talking about it and everyone's talking about it. Now let me go in. Because usually that's the time I'm thinking that's the time to sell, because everyone knows about it. Everyone's after it. Soon
Hmm.
it'll shift to something else, because nothing stays hot forever. It's always like, this is hot for a period and then it goes over here and then it goes here. So for me, in terms of investing, I will always pick real estate when the numbers work, I will pick real estate over anything else because it's land in America. And if it's in a good state, a good city, a good neighborhood, it's like you need it. No matter what, you need shelter. You need air, water, food, shelter. And I'd rather invest in cash flowing real estate that pays me every single month based on tenants being in there and paying the rent and it going up in value than putting my money into something, hoping it goes up in value, but there's nothing giving me anything per month. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't rent out a card and make money per month. It's like either it goes up or it goes down, period.
I wonder if you could, though, with that whole fractional ownership deal on the super rare cards. You know,
I don't know if
how
they
that.
pay
I don't
dividends.
know how exactly that works. I've never got into that, but
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I just don't think they
I
pay
imagine it's
dividends.
similar to
I'd have to look
Bitcoin.
into it. Yeah. I mean, it's a limited supply of something that people believe in, and I think that's just like anything else. I want to take a look at.
We're getting some really good
this
questions in the
base card
comments.
collector. What's that?
I said we're getting some really good questions in the comments.
Yeah, I like it, and this is what I think of too. Is just 2 years, like 2019. I'm gonna let those cards settle in, but 2018, like Lamar Jackson's year and a couple others, I think that's where I feel a lot more confident of this is the amount of cards. I've seen the data for long enough. Who here is being overlooked by the last year's draft class, which is still simmering down, and then you have the new draft class, and who is like on that verge of going from a good player to a great player, or just they've been a great player for a few years, and I know that okay, you're solid as long as you don't have a horrendous injury, you should be good for the next few years, and I feel a sense of comfort there versus a rookie, good game, bad game, good game, bad game, injury, like that kind of stuff. For sure, give me cash flow. I want to have like everyone wants to have like a really nice, sexy investment. Like I got this Zion card, or I got this sexy nightclub here, and this. I want the dirtiest laundromat that gives me the most amount of monthly cash flow. I want like the ATM machines around town where it's like the crappiest business, but it just is like a cash cow. I'd rather have that. And then I saw a question here from JTV about Jared Goff cards. I just want to touch on this from Austin because I don't really have thoughts on Pokemon. Yeah, because I don't invest in Pokemon. I have a whole ton of Pokemon cards from when I was a kid, but I don't really have thoughts. But it's more just like the power of one person on social media can drastically affect card prices, whether they mean to or not. I mean, just Gary Vee sharing his thoughts, Logan Paul sharing what he's doing can say, okay, well, if Kim Kardashian has this shade of lipstick on, then you have 3 million girls flooding to the mall to buy the same shade of lipstick. It's the same type of thing. I just don't really have a thought.
Do you see how many subscribers that those Pokemon channels have? That guy Leonhardt and PokeRev, and all they do is like open up packs. Because virtually all they do is break open Pokemon packs, and they've got thousands and like I don't know, probably millions of subscribers.
Well, you know what's funny is I remember seeing PokeRev months ago on Gary Vee's, I think Tea with Gary Vee, and I checked out his station, and he had something like 40,000 subscribers. And I was like, wow, man, this guy's very good quality. He's opening it up. He's opening up all these packs. There's people watching. And then months later, he has over 100,000 subscribers. And I'm like, where are you getting all of these packs from? Like, it's like 10 hours a day. It's like a sweatshop of just opening packs. Where it's like, and I'm like, who is giving you all these packs? Like, who is supplying you with literally what seems like 1,000 packs a day? And then the second thought is, how many packs of cards are out there? Because maybe there's like even 3 or 4 times more than I would even imagine, just because this one guy is opening up packs like it's his job every day for 10, 12 hours a day. I'm like, I don't know. It gets a bit scary. So.
Yeah, and Vegas Dave. Yeah, I think Vegas Dave is. I think Vegas Dave is a joke. He reminds me
I
of a guy from. He reminds me of one of those guys from the '90s, like on the Home Shopping Network. You know, trying to sell sets of 1991 Upper Deck, and we've got a 1997 of Fleer, and we've got a 1989 set of donruss.
Is that him,
You
the
know,
one that pops up
all
on the
of this for
commercial?
$99.99.
Is he the guy that pops up on the commercials on YouTube that's really annoying?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because I have no Vegas Dave off of Instagram. I don't
Yes,
really follow
yes,
this
he's the guy that pops up on the commercials. Some type of
auction looking thing. I don't know. There's
yes,
someone that pops up on a YouTube commercial and he has like a big fedora, and I don't know who this guy is, but I have to skip the
yes.
ad
That's
immediately because it's
Vegas
very
Dave.
annoying. That's him.
That's Vegas Dave with the Michael Jordan rookie card.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
that's Vegas
I just
Dave.
I just don't know much about him. I know he's into gambling, and that's more of his thing. I just don't know. And in terms of Gary Vee, see, the thing is like, um, I listen to Gary Vee a lot, so I know Blaine, you're not a fan of Gary Vee. I like Gary Vee. I credit him to getting me back into the hobby. I also think the message he spreads in terms of just business savvy, self awareness. There's a lot of really good life lessons. I think in this hobby specifically, he gets a bad rep because he's not the most knowledgeable person about this. He knows, he studies stuff and he knows a bit, but he's not like super in depth. But when someone asks him a question of who do you like, who's underrated, who's overrated, he gives his opinion. It's not based on like super in-depth knowledge. Like you've been studying this every day for years. It's more like, hey, you're in the hobby, you like it, but you just have 5 million people that are going to listen. And one mention of a player being underrated in his opinion based on just like one argument would spike the prices. So I mean, I like Gary Vee personally. I've gotten a lot from him, from his books, from his material.
He's got such a good he's got such a genuine personality. You know, he comes across very genuine, and he like his overrated, underrated. I like that show. Like they did a new episode this year.
Yeah.
Is that what you're referencing? I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, he talked
Well,
about a bunch of
honestly,
different cards and had some pretty decent editing.
I would say with Gary Vee, I'm someone that can't stand certain voices. And I'm like, at first, I couldn't stand listening to him just based on his voice. And then the more I listen to him, I'm like, all right, at first you rubbed me the wrong way. And then now what you're saying, it's pretty, it's good. You're a fast talker, which kind of annoys me. But everything he was saying was very insightful. It was good. And I actually find him to be extremely trustworthy. So maybe it's just the length at which I have listened to him and have followed him and have actually applied what he's saying and then have seen the results. But, to each their own. But I believe he has good intentions. I really do. And thank you. Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you, brother. Tom, here because probably at this point, the people that wake up tomorrow are going to be like, it's a tough watch, 2 hours long, but it's been a great time. Dude, I feel like we just started this conversation 30 minutes ago. It's a lot of fun. I think we've covered a lot of topics. We've also taken a lot of questions from the audience. I don't think we took them all. Obviously, we missed some questions. And you guys came with some fire questions tonight, which, like my good friend Les Alex said, if you're still watching this video right now and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Lurking on my video, my live stream. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to the Comeback Card Investor. Vintage Brad popping up at the.
Oh yeah.
How did the Bears?
The
Bears beat us on Thursday Night Football. That was the worst beat all year when the Bears beat us Thursday Night Football. That was my lowest low point all season long.
Well, you know what? It all plays out in the end. So congrats on that regular season victory, Brad Nolan. We'll just take our Super Bowl championship.
Yeah. And I hope Carson Wentz throws you many interceptions next year.
Yeah.
touchdowns.
Especially to Antoine Winfield Jr.
Just not
That'll
against
be
the
great.
Bucks.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Andy. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining on the live stream. It's been fun, and can't wait to do it again. And this guy knows everything football, so definitely follow him in the off season because I'll be doing the same.
Right on, brother, man. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon. See you guys in that next video. Peace. Derek Carr, I hope.